This is our fucking city.
He just shook up the world.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Raul Infante here with Taking Dish Sports. Don't forget, we're not only the guys that watch these sports, but we analyze them. So today we're actually going to do a T&D Sports mashup. We're going to be talking about Tom Brady. We're going to be talking about the return of Conor McGregor. We're going to talk about the NFL Super Bowl predictions that I have, the baseball scandals, and also the ups and downs of the Boston Celtics. So let's go ahead and start talking about the GOAT. Holy cow, it's here. 2020, Tom Brady is a free agent for the first time in his career. We've seen old quarterbacks retire already. Case in point, Eli Manning. It's about time he gets out of here. Pats fan doesn't want to see the guy play another game in the NFL. But let's start talking about Tom Brady. Do I think he's going to return back to the New England Patriots this season? I honestly, as much as I want him to, especially seeing how difficult it is to get a franchise quarterback in this NFL nowadays with wildcat styles that don't bring Super Bowls. Yes, I'm talking about Lamar Jackson and a lot of other quarterbacks that have came into the league as number one picks that don't end up doing anything. Yes, it's really difficult. Listen, I think that Tom Brady is not going to return to the New England Patriots because the Patriots are not going to offer a man that is 42, 43 years old more than $20 million with incentives. There's teams in the NFL out there, like let's say the LA Chargers, that are going to be looking for a quarterback if they don't get Phillip Rivers. And if they can get their hands on Tom Brady, they will. There's teams like Indy and the Oakland Raiders that are going to be moving to Las Vegas. Listen, there was one moment over the weekend, actually watching UFC 246, headlining Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone, that Tom Brady was in LA, and the owner of the Oakland Raiders just happened to be there. This is Mark Davis. Don't forget, the guy that signed John Gruden as a head coach for 10 years, $100 million. So what do you think he would put up for the GOAT, for the greatest of all time, having a new stadium in Las Vegas and having the guy who sells out the most jerseys every single year? Obviously, he would pay more than $20 million. I say he would offer Tom Brady $25 million a year just to get him in a LA Raider uniform in the next year or so. You know what I mean? So it's here, guys. The Patriots are gonna have to figure out what they want to do. It's whether they believe that Jarrett Stidham is ready, or do they need to sign Tom Brady? And if they do pay Tom Brady, it's going to be because they don't believe that Jarrett Stidham is actually ready to compete in the NFL. We've all seen how quarterbacks, if they're not confident, they're not ready. It's very difficult for them to turn around. Look at how long it took Ryan Tannehill to be able to turn around. So yeah, guys, my prediction, honestly, is that Tom Brady is going to walk. And that's so unfortunate because I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm a New England Patriots fan, but the reality is I don't think the Pats are going to be willing to pay him the money that he wants. Now, speaking of Tom Brady and Mike Davis and LA, right? Las Vegas. The UFC event, UFC 246, was wild, right? There was a couple fights that were a snoozer. That card mainly would be stacked when you have a Conor McGregor card. Look, just remember UFC 205 in New York, how crazy that was, right? This card, it wasn't the same. There wasn't that many big name fighters up there. Unless you're a true MMA fan, a true UFC fan that understands the roster like myself. You know, guys like Sadiq Youssef, Macy Barber, people like that were on the card that created amazing fights. You know, Anthony Pettis, I've said it for years, is washed up. But the return of Conor McGregor was the main reason why people decided to sit down and watch this fight. Only took him 40 seconds. Shoulder strikes, right? I've never seen shoulder strikes like this before. 4 shoulder strikes later, Donald Cerrone has a black eye. Donald Cerrone has a busted nose. There he goes, he tries to backpedal. People were saying, hey, why wasn't, look, like Stephen A. Smith, this is the stupidest comment I've ever heard. Why wasn't Donald Cerrone trying to back up and gather his bearings, catch a breath? Conor McGregor does not let you breathe. Ask every other fighter that he's fought besides Jose Aldo, because it was so quick. Jose Aldo was coming forward. It was personal to him. But everybody else, they're on their back foot. They don't know what to do because when they start backpedaling, what's Conor McGregor doing? He's pushing the pace. He's pushing the pace. And if you try to circle him, his footwork is amazing as well. He's going to cut off the ring and try to force you to his power hand. So what does Donald Cerrone do? He doesn't know what's coming. Conor McGregor is not known as somebody that throws head kicks. Maybe before when he was fighting Max Holloway and early in his UFC career, but not anymore. The fact that he was able to land that head kick on Donald Cowboy Cerrone and end up finishing him in those 40 seconds were amazing. Now, that fight happens. All right, That's the warm-up fight. Who do you want to see him fight next? Is it Jorge Masvidal? Is it Nate Diaz, the trilogy? Is it Justin Gaethje? Is it Nurmagomedov against Tony Ferguson? Absolutely, I would want him to fight for a title, but I don't think he should get special treatment. I think Justin Gaethje deserves that fight as much as anybody else. So poor Gaethje obviously has to sit on the sideline. The fight that I think makes the most sense right now is actually Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal has taken minimal damage in his last couple fights, even against Nate Diaz, that he just completely mobbed. I don't care if Nate was injured or not. You show up to a fight, no excuses, right? Just like the warrior that he is. So I think the best fight right now would be to put the BMF title on the line, have Conor McGregor fight for that belt, and then reward Jorge Masvidal and pay him that bread, because everybody's looking at Game Bread and the Notorious to get it on. If not, let Game Bread fight for the title and let Conor McGregor fight somebody like Gaethje, or he could, just like he predicts, he thinks that Nurmagomedov against Tony Ferguson, that fight is not going to, you know what, I'm not even going to say, because it's going to happen in the 5th time that they finally make it. Please stay away from wires, Tony Ferguson. Please take your diet seriously, Khabib, right? So that fight will happen in April. So I think Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz trilogy, that makes sense. But does Nate Diaz deserve it? I don't think so. I have to get him out. But it does make sense with the money. We all love the ferocious Conor McGregor. I enjoyed seeing him actually in the press conference with Donald, just being calm, because he looked like he was on drugs against Khabib. And even though it was personal, you could tell he was on something. So listen, all that being said, Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor, that's the fight that I want to see next. Justin Gaethje, I feel bad for you. I don't know what you're going to do. But, hey, the UFC will figure it out. UFC President Dana White already said that he's gonna talk to him and figure that out. But listen, the biggest thing that I took out of the post-fight press conference, right, was that Conor McGregor said that he was not going to wait till the summer. His coach said he was not going to wait till the summer for a return. Why would you? 0 damage. 1 strike thrown by Donald Cerrone, and it didn't land. All the strikes landed were by Conor McGregor. No damage taken. Come back before the summer. I want to see him in March or April, right? So that being said, we're actually going to move on. But before, we're going to take a short break. Hey guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button for more notifications. So with that being said, we're done talking about Tom Brady, the UFC 246 return of Conor McGregor. So right now, we're going to focus on the NFL Super Bowl of 2020. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the San Francisco 49ers with Jimmy G, or is it going to be the Kansas City Chiefs with the new face of the NFL, Patrick Mahomes? Listen, I worry about something, and it's the fact that Jimmy G only threw the ball 7 times against Green Bay. Is it because Green Bay wasn't able to figure out the run game? They weren't able to adjust? Or is it that they don't trust Jimmy G? I don't know. Listen, I'm going to take a gamble and say that they do trust Jimmy G more than they let out in the NFC Championship game. Reason being is because the week prior, Jimmy G showed up. And I think that the main reason why the 49ers are in the position that they are is because of the decision making that Jimmy G has made and the defense as well. So listen, if you're looking at the 49ers themselves, the 49ers is like, you remember Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards when you had the same cards, but one was holographic and the one was the same, but the numbers were all the same, right? Which one would you choose? You would choose the holographic card, right? And I'm referring to the 49ers being a holographic card, because if you look at the 49ers style and you look at the Tennessee Titans style, it's a run first, it's an aggressive defense, good linebackers, solid cornerbacks, but I don't think that it's going to be the same game. Reason being is because, yes, Patrick Mahomes could throw all over the field, right? Yes, Patrick Mahomes could scramble, but I don't think he's able to do the exact same thing to the 49ers, because they are a little bit of an upgrade in the secondary and in the front 7. I think that the front 7 on the offensive side of the Kansas City Chiefs is going to struggle a little bit. If you saw, there was a lot of times where Patrick Mahomes had to scramble and run the ball, and it was mainly because on the play action passes, it was broken up. The offensive line wasn't able to hold against Tennessee, and if you see the 49ers, their front 7 is diesel. You know what I'm saying? They got guys that they drafted. That team is complete on the defense. So I don't think that Patrick Mahomes will be able to throw as easily as he did against the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, however, the problem is the question is the Chiefs going to be able? Are the Chiefs going to be able to run the ball with Damian Williams the way that they did against the Tennessee Titans? To me, that was the biggest surprise of the game. And the question for the 49ers is going to be, is Jimmy G up for the task to go head-to-head against Patrick Mahomes? It's a landslide, I think, in that sense. Quarterback against quarterback, you have to go Pat Mahomes. But the running game, I was more impressed with the San Francisco 49ers and just their ability to kill. I think under the spotlight, I think Shanahan has big cojones. I think the 49ers being led by Richard Sherman on the defensive side is going to play a big role. So I actually have the 49ers winning the Super Bowl. I know it's a bold prediction, but when you have Andy Reid being in the top 6 and wins of all time and having 0 rings when everybody else in the top 6 has at least 2 rings, yeah, that shows right there that Andy Reid actually chokes under pressure. He's done it in the Super Bowl, AFC Championship games, wild card, you know what I mean? So, yes, you do have Patrick Mahomes now, and that can impact the game, but I don't think it will this year. I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will get 2 rings by the time Andy Reid is done coaching, but I don't think it's going to be this year. So my prediction is San Francisco is going to win this game, and I think it's going to actually be a 34-28 score. So that's what I got, 34-28. You guys hear it, San Francisco 49ers. If they lose, so be it. But I'm rooting for the ex-Patriot player Jimmy G that'll have 3 rings in total, more than Eli and Peyton Manning. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But so listen, that's what I got right there. So moving on, listen, we're actually going to transition to the scandals of baseball. What is going on? They say that baseball is a sport that is dying, but right, we love chaos. Just like we love Mike Tyson, right? Being outside of the octagon. Just like we like hearing things about Aaron Hernandez. Look, this man's been dead for years, right? And what do people keep talking about? Oh, did you watch the Aaron Hernandez documentary? Of course I did, just like everybody else. We're addicted to chaos. So baseball, right, is a dying sport, but we got the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox that are in deep, deep crap, right? The Houston Astros first, shockingly surprised the general manager and the manager of the team that just won the World Series. It's one of the most successful franchises. It was the laughing stock of baseball, right? The Houston Astros. And look at them now killing it year after year. You're like, wow, they really did it. They know how to draft players. They're like the Golden State Warriors, right? They just use the draft. They don't overpay players. They use their system. Man. Yes, I still believe that, but come on. You want to talk about cheating scandals? Alex Cora, I'm super disappointed in what's going on. Using an aluminum bat in a wooden league to hit trash cans to let batters know what pitch is coming with Bregman and Altuve that don't need that, clearly, to win MVPs and have batting titles and all that stuff. They end up winning, and then it gets even worse for Alex Cora, right? Wins the World Series the following year with the Red Sox. And I'm a little confused about this. And if you guys have any comments, please let me know. I've seen so many baseball games, not just Red Sox games. And I see hitters, they're on the sideline, right? Or they're in the dugout or they're about to go up to bat, right? And what are they doing? They're with the hitting coach, right? On an iPad looking at things. So when they were saying electronics, I was like, all teams are using electronics. Look at the NFL, right? They're not using pictures anymore coming out of the printer. It's all iPads and things like that. It's 2020. That's going to happen. But when I started hearing about the replays, that's the biggest problem, I think, right? You go and see, and you're able to see what pitchers are doing. You see a guy like Chris Sale, and you're like, why in the world did Chris Sale go from a Cy Young pitcher or an ace pitcher to having an ERA over 8, right? Now it's starting to make sense if all these teams are doing it. Yes, Houston is the one that's getting caught and the Red Sox because same reason as the New England Patriots. Sorry, haters, right? You have teams that are winning. People get jealous. People are quick to point the fingers at the teams that are winning. Point blank, right? So honestly, I think that most teams are actually doing the exact same thing because of the numbers that I said of the pitchers. And did you see how much the numbers of home runs skyrocketed for every player? You're not talking about guys using steroids anymore. You're talking about leadoff hitters. You're talking about ninth batters, 8-7 that are hitting home runs at this pace. Everybody's going to make it to 500 home runs, right? But man, going back to the Houston Astros, that video, Jose Altuve hitting that walk-off home run and him saying, don't rip my jersey off, don't rip my jersey off, because of a wire that they have that vibrates certain times depending on what pitch it is. That is ridiculous. How is your OPS 1,000 points higher at home than it is away? that's assuring me and everybody else that you're cheating. You know what I mean? Jose Altuve, a man that I'm the same height of, that I'm saying, I'm praising. I'm like, listen, short guys can make it into the MLB and be successful. And now you have this guy that now is being looked at this way, and Bleacher Report goes out and surfaces, and other reporters surface that now they're going to take deals, that they're going to confess to what they did wrong. It's just a complete mess that I think baseball is actually handling it right. Just like Adam Silver did with the NBA when the whole racism and Clippers situation happened. Bam, right? The MLB commissioner is doing the exact same thing. He's not banning people, but he's definitely taking the suspensions serious, the firings. Shout out to the owners for not taking a crap. Fire those people, suspend them, and hopefully they learn and are able to coach down the line or become a GM down the line. You know what I mean? So with that wraps up the baseball scandal. Now, my team in the NBA is what? I'm a New England guy. So my favorite team is the Boston Celtics. We all know the ups and downs that they had last year. They get rid of the poison in Kyrie Irving. We see what he's doing to that team in Brooklyn. He's a gutless bum over there, right? It seems like he's faking injuries. They're saying that he's having all kind of mental breakdowns, already calling out his players from his team. You know, even though he's not playing and they're the ones sticking up for him and KD and holding. Listen, it's just a mess over there, right? We get Kemba Walker, a guy that has never been tossed from a game before this year. And it was justifiable with against the Spurs, but that's a different conversation. Point is I like the attitude that this Celtics team have going in this year. They look like they're having fun again, but I do have an issue with the decision making of Brad Stevens. And it drives me crazy because he did the same thing with Kyrie Irving the last 2 seasons. Fourth quarter, I don't understand what he does. Fourth quarter starts, Kyrie Irving is on the bench. Fourth quarter starts, Kemba Walker is on the bench, right? It doesn't matter if the Celtics are leading or losing or just leading by like 3. The other teams will go up by 10, and there's Brad Stevens, arms crossed, walking back and forth until 6 minutes of the game. Kemba, get in there. Kyrie, get in there. That's frustrating to watch as a fan because if it's a close game, if you're playing these close teams like the 76ers, like Milwaukee, you're going to want your best players out on the court. And I understand in the long run it's beneficial. Case in point, obviously the Spurs did it with the minute restrictions. But come on, man, when it's those primetime games, you want the teams to show up. Because right now, it doesn't look like the Celtics could do much in the playoffs. You lose against Milwaukee once, obviously beat them in the first matchup, but you were losing by 17 points? And you've lost all 3 matchups against Philadelphia. Listen, Philly is the team that I hate the most because I hate Ben Simmons. I don't like his play. I don't like how much superstar showed he gets, right? And listen, I will say the first game that they played against Philly, it's the first game of the season. But people don't got their legs, it's ring rust, whatever. We'll let that slide, right? But then the second game, what ends up happening, it's after a back-to-back. The third game, Embiid is out, but it's after a back-to-back. Same thing against Milwaukee. They played the Pistons, a tough game. It was a close game, but D Rose and those other veterans killed us. But it's another back-to-back game. So I want to see, I still have faith for my Celtics. Like I said, I don't like what Brad Stevens is doing with the minute restrictions, but I think that this team can go far and actually surprise people. Look what the Celtics did to the LA Lakers, right? 34 points. Who does that? Yes, the LA Lakers had a bad night, but it shows the ability of the Celtics, whether AD was playing minute restrictions or not. Because I could say the same thing. JB was out against Milwaukee. Jason Tatum was out as well in those common games. So I want to see what the Celtics could do when they have one rest, one game come playoff time. Because I think that this young team, it has a lot to prove and has the ability to shut down people, especially with Cantor coming off the bench, Marcus Smart coming off the bench. And I think that obviously we all see it. If Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown struggle, the entire team struggles. Because Marcus Smart chucking 11 threes and making them, it does not bring the life of the entire team up. It's lockdown defense from Marcus Smart and at least 20 points from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I don't think the Celtics have lost a single game like that so far. So that's what I got to say so far from the Boston Celtics season. I still think that they're going to be able to finish in the top 2 seeds. Milwaukee got that, absolutely. But I truly believe that the Celtics are going to finish second. We'll see how it goes after the All-Star break, but that's my prediction. So with that being said, that covers the Taking This Sports mashup of the day. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget, we're not only the guys that watch these sports, but we analyze them here on Taking This Sports. We're your host, Raul Infante.